Thank you, Renate, from the beautiful city of Tromsø. I think that's a city we saw in the background. I'm also very happy that digitally this worked really nicely. I think some very strong messages came across. And that actually links very well into our next speaker, which is Thomas Vogth-Eriksen. He represents a CFO, the group of DnVGL. He will be tackling what he stated are global transformations, but not by just describing it, but taking us along on how you can digitally engage those global transformations into innovation, also enabling the collaboration between different stakeholders. So we're very much looking forward to your presentation, and I'll give you the stage. Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you, John, for the introduction, and I suppose we can all say good afternoon to the conference. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a privilege to be here and to give you some reflections from our side. Of course, being a CFO in a technology-oriented company means that it is innovation, but I suppose with a twist of business reflections to it. Zooming out and starting here, and this is, by the way, not the same slide as used by Giles from Tesco, but the point here is that the ocean is covering 70% of the Earth's surface. The ocean holds 97% of the total water on the globe, and 95% of the depths of the water columns and the seabed remains actually largely unexplored at this time. So there is no doubt that the oceans are a global force, a nature that form the foundation of the blue planet of which we live. They are a life support system for Earth and a global commons that provide us with free goods and services from the food we eat to the oxygen we breathe. The ocean also regulates the global climate, the immediate temperature, and drive the weather, rainfall, droughts, and floods. So clearly, it would be more natural to call it the ocean planet, because the ocean is referred to as the new economic frontier, with the capacity to further drive significant economic growth in a sustainable way. So we think and believe that there continue to be vital contributions also to drive food safety and food security agenda. Now, from our perspective, our company has a purpose to safeguard life, property, and environment, and we think that fits well with this industry. We have just refreshed our vision to become, working with our customers and clients, of course, a trusted voice to tackle global transformations, where we have expertise and foresight that can take an active role in addressing the most complex challenges facing our industries and our world. And some of the world's most vital systems are undergoing significant transformations. Our climate, the oceans, energy systems, food, healthcare, and transport, and some of the key areas where we use our domain knowledge and digital expertise to help solve issues and accelerate progress. Our company is a foundation that has been proudly in existence for more than 150 years. And we provide various standards, verification services, and trust, services towards our customers. We were in this industry first with the Global Gap and MSC Fisheries as a certification body. We supported the development and introduction of the ASC farms that has been important for the aquaculture farmers for quite many years. And we have worked with and supported the introduction of several of the standards that is important for the processing industry and the food safety perspective in total. And some of us even remember that DnVGL introduced the first SKREI certificate back in 2008, together with the Norwegian Seafood Council. So undoubtedly, we are here to continue to provide and support the industry also moving forward. Now, one planet, one plan. And we heard already about the Sustainable Development Goals. In tackling the global transformations, we addressed the massive economic, social, and environmental challenges. And in 2015, 193 heads of state agreed on a plan to meet these challenges and signed up to the Global Sustainable Development Goals, which define the global priorities and aspirations for 2020. The SDGs address the global challenges we are facing, including those related to poverty, inequality, climate, environmental degradation, prosperity, and peace and justice. And this illustration shows how the goals are all interconnected through the complex nature of our social ecological system. So what is then the relevance of these goals and the target to the seafood industry? Well, one way of looking at it is like this. That's saying, okay, if we are addressing harvesting food from the oceans, undoubtedly the marine aquaculture is contributing already with 50% of the seafood that we consume today, and is the fastest part growing moving forward. That the role in mitigating climate change is important. We have already learned this morning that we are a relatively low carbon footprint compared with other animal source industries, but there are still emissions reductions to be made in the transportation part of the value chain moving forward. That the ocean industries employ millions of people and will continue to do so. Its fishing and small-scale aquaculture remain fundamental for the livelihood of many coastal communities and will continue to drive and give prosperity to millions of people in the future. And then, but of course, we also need to safeguard the health of the ocean. And that means that we also have to tackle some of the significant challenges that this industry is up against. Few can be mentioned: decoupling feed from the wild catch, fish health and welfare, fish mortality, fish escaped, and environmental footprint. And it is the industry itself that has to have the driving seat to resolve these matters. We believe that to achieve this, it is important to address ocean industry collaboration, and that we can work together to collaborate across the industry through entire value chains and among different stakeholders to share data and focus on transparency and traceability. And to build infrastructure and to promote sustainable development, technology, development, research and innovation is of course very key for driving this industry forward, and a place where we want to play a role. So we want to do our part in terms of seafood innovation. During the Ocean Conference last autumn that we arranged, we made a commitment to strengthen our research and innovation within this sector, work towards the development of standards and best practices supporting the healthy and productive oceans, seek collaboration with industry partners for the sharing of economy growth through foresight, provide additional insight and transparency concerning blue economy moving forward. We in DnVGL want to use and promote technology development for digital solutions. Creating trust and traceability and transparency is imperative for the industry moving forward. And we think that using technologies like blockchain, and we have a blockchain product called My Story, where you can trace the origin of the product from the catching moment all the way through to the value chain. So from the catch, the location, temperature, humidity, and so on. These are technologies now that can follow the products all the way to the consumer. And it all kind of sums up that we need to address the consumer trust and the consumer reputation, because the consumers are voting by using this device more and more moving forward. So sharing data between different actors in across the space we think is important moving forward. We have developed a platform that we call Veracity. It's a digital platform that is enabling sharing data, so data holders and data consumers can in a safe way extract data in a similar way that we saw an example of this morning. And to enable transforming information into insights, we have launched this Veracity data platform, which is a key enabler for us to unlocking the value embedded in data. Please take also then an opportunity to visit our stand here at North Atlantic Seafood Conference to learn more about some of our initiatives, and in particular also to get a first view of what we call DnVGL's interactive visualization tool, Aqua Insight. So, to sum up, blue growth matters. The ocean space is a key resource for energy, food, minerals, leisure, and transportation. It represents huge potential for value creation also in the future. The seafood industry will play a key role for global sustainable development towards 2030 and beyond. And we believe that the North Atlantic seafood industry, which is represented here today, must think global. We think that we can emulate a little bit, just like the DnVGL. I mean, more than 80% of our value creation happens outside Norway. So the potential of the value creation, we believe, for the seafood industry is much bigger and far beyond the value of the fish export in itself. But then we need to continue and improve our cooperation even better, business, academia, research institutions, NGOs, and government. And to make a reference to another industry that has been quite successful in, at least in Norway, I think we should reflect on that we can emulate what we call the success of the maritime cluster. But then to put that a bit into the historic, let's say, perspective, I would say that, well, maybe we have to step up the game a bit. Maybe we have to think not like the Vikings traditionally, but more like the Romans. The Roman Empire lasted for centuries. The Roman Empire had strong governance and a strong center. And we believe that the North Atlantic seafood industry needs strong governance, needs a strong seafood center, and that the North Atlantic cluster should remain and develop and think globally in the future. So blue growth matters and innovation matters, and thank you for your attention.